here with Benji Alasu, who has written and produced last year's Eurovision winning hit, Nemo's The Code, and this year's song representing Armenia, Parg's Survivor. Benji, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Can you talk about how you first came to music and songwriting?
My earliest memory of music was we had a piano at home, and my parents had the great idea to send me to have some piano lessons. This kind of like moved along to also play every Sunday in church because I grew up very religious. It was just not myself playing the piano, but to also play in a band. That was kind of like the starting point of doing music.
As someone who's a songwriter and a producer, are you already thinking about arrangement and sound as you're writing?
My writing is actually almost only arrangement and melodies. I'm a very bad lyric writer because I didn't grow up speaking English. And the main music I listened to when I was a kid was English music. And I didn't understand the words. I only heard melodies. My brain is still wired like that to only hear melodies and to hear sounds and arrangements.
Listen, the Swedes have done very well with sometimes misunderstanding English.
On the music side, does it start with a melodic idea? Does it start with a beat, a sound, or a chord progression?
Every session is different. Yeah. Every song is different. And every artist and every songwriter is different.
Right.
Also, every day is different. So you kind of need to adapt to that. Most of the time, what I like to do is to be prepared with like kind of like what the vibe is. I check out the music that the artist has put out already. So we know what kind of like the playground will be. Usually we will just talk in the first hour and see how are you doing? What's going on in your life? What is inspiring you at the moment? Through that conversation, we start to build a concept.
The Code was written at a songwriting camp in collaboration with Nemo, NYLAN, and Linda Dahle.
It was on the second day of a songwriting camp in Switzerland. Nemo came into the studio and said, I already made a cool song. I just want to chill today because I'm a bit tired. So we asked, okay, what's chill for you? And the first thing that Nemo said was, I like drum and bass. So that's chill to me. So we started to fiddle around with like a drum bass loop and with the main melody that you hear in the beginning, the boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. That was the basis of the song. And then basically so many ideas were thrown into the room. And we had this idea of we say yes to everything and we will try to make it work. That was kind of like the unwritten rule that we had in the studio. It was a very creative game of ping pong, so to speak. The song, as you hear now, the arrangement and the song was written that day. We tried to change things after that session. We tried new melodies. We tried also a bit of new lyrics, but nothing worked out. The only thing that changed a lot was we had to get like really good strings into the production because of course we didn't have like an orchestra there. And we knew, okay, we need like someone who can write notes and who can replicate that huge sound. We try to get the best out of the song. And we need people who are the best in like doing a string arrangement. And we need other people who bring in other elements. So in the end, there were so many people involved, like 7 producers, I think, which is not normal for a pop song. It's normal for a rap song, like all these producers.
Right.
Everybody had an opinion, which can be so tricky with so many people.
Yeah. So you recorded those strings? That's not a patch?
Oh, in the end, it was just plugins, but we knew we needed one person that can compose all these things. I just sent him like some sketches of like ideas that I had. And to my surprise, which was so funny, some of these elements he still took in.
With that many people involved, like you have songwriters in different places, you got a TV channel, you got multiple producers.
Yeah.
How are decisions made?
There was one executive producer. His name is Pele Loriano. He has so much Eurovision experience and he kind of like put that all together. But of course, everybody wanted to have their creative say in it. That was kind of like a personal thing for me. I was like, okay, am I even needed here? Because there are so many people involved. So what is my role here anyway now? Yeah. But it turned out that every single bit that everybody put into that song was so important in the end.
Generally, like, what is your feeling about songwriting camps?
In a songwriting camp, there's this creative spirit. It's not just you and an artist and probably a third person. It's like 30 people in one place at the same time, with the same mission of writing the best song that they possibly can. This spirit of like, okay, we are all creatives, we are all in the same place, and we all have the same mission, is something that you cannot replicate. Sometimes as songwriters or producers, you feel so alone because you're just like in the studio or wherever working on your things. And all of a sudden you are together with so many people who have kind of like the same idea. And of course you want to perform well because in the end of the camp, people will hear it. So there's this need for excellency. I like to be in that situation where it's like, okay, game on, but I totally understand that it's not the right environment for everyone, because sometimes you have people who are like, their writing process goes on for like a month to finish a song.
What was your experience of being a songwriter at Eurovision?
So my job was done. I was just there day drinking, basically, just celebrating. That was my job, man.
Yeah, it's part of the job, I have to say.
It was kind of like an experience of a lifetime, I would say, because it was my first song at Eurovision. We won this composer award for the song. So that was a special moment to me. In the rehearsals, we had the chance to sit with the crowd in the stadium. That was amazing to see that this song that so many people worked on so much is finally coming to life on stage.
Given that the Code won, how has it changed your sort of trajectory as a songwriter, your career trajectory?
Yeah. I planned to go to LA anyway after the Eurovision. And I just went there and I met Rosalind. We just had a small writing session in LA. And I also had the chance to meet through the Code the guitar player of Maroon 5. His name is Jesse Carmichael. He's a great composer and great guitar player and just a great human being. That was kind of like a highlight to see like such a musician and such an artist, to just have this conversation with him. And that was really, truly inspiring. So that happened right after Eurovision. And the trajectory now is basically to do at least one song that has the same impact, but not in the Eurovision world, but more in the pop world, more in the radio world. The pop spectrum is now wider than ever before. I mean, we have Billie Eilish on this spectrum, and then we have Maneskin, I don't know, here doing rock stuff. One person that has inspired me and is still inspiring me continuously is Ryan Tedder from One Republic.
Yeah.
This guy is a genius. I would love to write a song once with him, or even be signed to his publishing company.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Tedder's a listener. So
Ryan, hi, Ryan.
So
Ryan, if you hear this,
get that deal made.
Yeah, get that deal made, please. No. Amazing.
You're a writer on Armenia's song in this year's Eurovision, Survivor.
I'm a survivor, stay alive. Do or die, my friend, I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor, won't be tired. Break from the pain, take a place, I'll be one.
In Switzerland, at least, like the Eurovision stage is kind of like the most important stage as a songwriter or producer. Maybe even Germany, France, Italy, like all the East European countries. So it was kind of like logical to me. Okay, if I want to grow as a producer and as a songwriter, I need to try to work in that industry. Like Arcade from Duncan Lawrence, or like Maneskin. I think that's where I saw a lot of potential. And that's why I thought, okay, I can go down this route, although I'm very pop. I got invited by Parg's manager to maybe join that song, and it resonated with me. I heard the chorus and I had a bunch of ideas, and I told him, please send me just over the stems so I can just work on the track. This song was, again, very collaborative. In the end, I think we were 4 or 5 producers again.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the process also because I did whatever I thought was cool, sent it over to Parg. And then they finished it with Thomas Gison. He did Tattoo, or was part of that team. I remember we didn't have verses yet. So I think especially the first verse, I was just sending him voice messages on WhatsApp with like ideas of like mumbling stuff. It was just gibberish, basically. The best decision, I think, was the bridge.
Breathe all this soul. Never forget who you are.
Again, I just did like a really short sketch thing with my strings. I was like, I think we can do something really cinematic and dramatic here. And then I think Thomas was that. I don't know how, but man, he created such a world.
So moving to the way you collaborate with artists, what are some qualities in an artist that draw you to them or make you want to write for them?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good question. Something that really draws me into it is, of course, the musical aspect, if I kind of like vibe with them, but also if the person is inspiring, if the artist is carrying this spark with them in the sense of, whoa, okay, this person is so cool. I just want to hang out. There's one artist I work closely with. Her name is called NYLAN.
I'm torn. Why do Owens make a perfect storm? Either way, I'm washed up on the shore.
She's kind of like the perfect example to me that is not afraid of trying out things and to be completely themselves and to make me feel something when I hear their music. I think it's a combination of these things.
Can you, just using that as an example, like talk about how that collaboration started?
That was a funny one. Her mom texted me years ago.
Amazing.
I think her text was, "Hey, I'm Ariane. I'm a vocal coach and I have a daughter and she wants to do music."
When you meet an artist and begin working with them, what are some of your initial conversations?
I just want to get to know them. Like, what's important to you? Do you have a dog or do you have whatever? What does your life look like? Why are you here? Why do you do music? Because there's so much worth in every story. So I don't want to rush that process. Sometimes we schedule 1 hour just to talk and then it ends up by 3 or 4 hours. I want to give artists like a safe space because it's the worst feeling if you go to a studio and you feel stressed about something.
Yeah.
Some people, they just need 10 minutes. They're like, okay, where's the vocal booth? Let me just sing that. And some people need like 3 hours to feel a bit more comfortable. I try to be as vulnerable as I can to build that connection. If I notice, okay, somebody is really uncomfortable or like nervous, I just start talking about how my week was and how my wife is doing and how my life is going in general. And if they want a coffee or tea or a matcha or whatever.
Can you talk about a time where you've had creative disagreement with a collaborator and how you work through that?
Now it's way easier to do for me because it's detached from who I am as a person. But in the beginning, and I think everybody does that in the creative business, it's like, I made this. And then someone's like, yeah, I don't like that. You're like, you hate me. You. The longer you do it, the more you understand that it's good to have disagreements in order to find the right song. For example, yesterday we had a session. The song was written basically. And then the artist was like getting into tunnel vision. And he was like, yeah, I don't like it. We were like, why? Like, it sounds pretty cool, right? He was like, yeah, no, I want to make it cooler. And then he started to write a completely different song. We were like, we get you, but we think it's a production thing. Just give me 10 minutes to do the changes to make it sound cooler for you. Then it worked out because it was just a production thing. But we had to have this conversation to figure out what he's missing.
You've worked with Remo Ferrer on Not Okay.
I'm not the one to point the blame, but you are not, and I'm not okay.
Can you talk about the process of writing that song?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was a songwriting camp just for him to get like some songs. I think on the first or second day, we started to write the song and it was a completely different production in the beginning. It was slower, it was a different key. Only the melodies and the lyrics are the same. But then the management and the whole team was like, okay, no, this is cool, but we just need to do a lot of changes because it's very catchy. And if another producer finishes it, you are always confronted with your ego, right? It's like, man, what did I do wrong? Like, they hate me. And blah, blah, blah. That was kind of like the first time where I felt that, where I was like, okay, what is wrong with me as a producer? But then it turned out to be a really, really cool song and it worked pretty well on radio.
How has your process changed with experience?
The biggest thing that I learned was actually after Eurovision, after the code, because all of a sudden you want every song to be the code or kind of like to be like that, right? And it's you pretty rapidly you learn that this is not possible, and just to be okay with that, and also that I can trust myself, that I can trust my instincts, because a lot of producers or songwriters, they struggle with self-doubt in the sense of, oh, I'm not good enough, or my ideas are not good enough, and I'm just here because whatever. And this is not true. Every time when you are in a room with someone, there's a reason why you are in that room. And that's because you give worth to this group. Right now, I'm pretty content with myself, and I'm still hunting to get these bigger songs and to write these bigger songs and write with Ryan Tedder. But I'm not hunted anymore, but I'm hunting.
I love that.
I'm hunting something. I'm not hunted by myself and by my fears and doubts.
Thinking about the entire process of putting together a song, like what's the most fun part for you and what is the part that frustrates you the most?
So the first time when you start writing a song, it's always the most terrifying part because you don't know what's going to happen. It's a blank page every time. I think Ian Kirkpatrick said that once. He's Dua Lipa's producer.
Oh, amazing. Awesome.
Or he did like Don't Start Now and all these other hits. And once he said, yeah, every time when he starts a new song, he's just freaking out. What am I going to do? Like, where is this going and stuff like that? And this is true. Like in the beginning, you don't know what's going to happen. But the best part is when you get to a point where everybody in the room is like, okay, this is a vibe. This is cool. This is going somewhere.
What are you working on now that most excites you?
One thing that is totally out of my day-to-day job basically is I'm part of the team to work on the production music for the Eurovision this year, which means
Amazing.
all the musical and show elements that are besides the songs. It was so refreshing to work on something that is longer than 3 minutes sometimes, you know?
Absolutely.
To work on pop songs, on radio songs, and the next day you are in a meeting with 30 people talking about how the lightning should look like. Yeah.
That's amazing. Benji, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
this
thank
has
you.
been really, really cool.
And we'll be in Basel, so maybe we'll see you there.
Oh,
yes.
No
Yes.
way. Okay, yeah. Please, we need to meet up.
Oh,
Definitely.
absolutely.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
All the mysteries of the Euroverse.